Keep tapping them. Oh, you're here. I guess I'll take a rest. Since you're here already, let's talk. And I'll do my push-ups another time. Yeah, that's the ticket. Let me turn off the music. So, this is actually, I don't know why the video keep doing that. This is actually part 2 of an introduction to cannabis kung fu yoga. So, I'll stay like this. So the first thing, well, let me say first, what the show will, how I will do the show. I'm trying to get my words up. How I will do the show is like the first part is when I was inside the temple house and I explain what cannabis kung fu isn't and what it is and how it's related to cannabis and all that type of stuff. It's just now, and then the second part, like this part here, is when ants, is when I come outside and I show the techniques or whatever it is I talk about upstairs. So since I'm introducing cannabis kung fu yoga, the outside work that I'm going to be doing is just the basics, the foundation of the system. So, let me get a chair. Okay, that's better. I am an older man. Anyway, so the very first thing, or one of the very first things that we will learn as far as actually doing cannabis magu. The actual full name is magu, Divine Cannabis Kung Fu Yoga. So magu in Chinese is divine cannabis. I'll get into that later. So, the very first thing, just like your Bible tells you, well, it actually don't tell you what to do, it just tells you that the first thing that the Most High gave you is the breath. I breathed into your nostrils the breath of life and you became a living soul. So, in Kung Fu, or in any thing that's that type of thing, breath is always first. Kung Fu, yoga, magic, anything that got to do with development of yourself should first start out with breathing. So, the breathing technique goes like such. There are 3 different types of breathing techniques that are in this system. So I'm just going to give the basic one right now, and I will have for sale the actual movements and all that, what's called Qi Gong, or breath work. So the foundation of all of it is to get the breath back down into the lower abdomen. Now, if you happen to be able to see a baby before they're 7 years old, they naturally breathe into the lower abdomen. They just sitting there looking at TV or whatever. When they just sitting there, you can watch their abdomen, or when they're asleep, watch their abdomen, watch their lower abdomen. That's rises and falling. Now, for some reason, after 7 years old, we start. Somebody tell you take a deep breath. Take a deep breath right now. Your chest rises and falling. That means that the breath is not reaching all the way down to the abdomen. And one important reason that's important, because when you're breathing in the lower abdomen, you're moving all the shit. Guess where the shit is at? The shit, like real shit, like when you go to the toilet and shit, that shit. It's all down here. All this deals with the water and the shit. So when you're breathing, it's pushing down and pushing that shit out. But if you're breathing up here, you're not really pushing down. Oh, it's a bunch of things. It's like sitting on toilets. That's one thing that has made people sick, you understand? Because we're not pushing the shit out like we used to sit. I'm getting off subject. So the first thing to learn is breath. Now, like I said, there's 3 types of breathing that we do. So the first type of breathing is for martial art as well as for self-healing. So self-healing, along with breath, is always first. Whatever, if it's balancing out your body, if you have some type of disorder or dis-ease, you understand, breath is at least going to help. Then there's foods and etc. But breath is the first thing. If you don't learn nothing else from this, learn how to breathe correctly. Don't strain, don't force and all that stuff. When you take a breath in, for energy breath, the first breath, we breathe in and out of the nose. Not in the nose and out the mouth or none of that. Energy breath is breathing in the nose and out the nose. So a breath is as long, as quiet, as deep as possible. You're going to take a long breath, breathe in. And the breath is going to you're going to breathe all the way down to your lower abdomen. Don't push the abdomen out with force. Let the air that you breathe in expand the lower abdomen like you're blowing up a balloon. Breathe in and let it expand. Let it come up to the chest. Now, it's not like you're supposed to not have chest breathing, but that comes after this expands, then the chest, then the neck, and then when you are full of air, you breathe out. You don't and hold the breath. As soon as you can't breathe in anymore, breathe out. And you breathe out all the way until you can't breathe out anymore. And then you relax the abdomen, because when you breathe out, until you can't breathe out anymore, the abdomen is going to push up and push all the air out. And then at the point of not being able to push any more air out, you just relax the lower abdomen and it'll pull in some air, and then you consciously start breathing in again. So, in other words, you try to breathe all the way in, all the way out, without any pauses in between. That's the foundation. Like I said, I'll make a video later that'll go through the basic movements, because however you move your hand while you're doing breathing exercises is how you're channeling the energy in the body and all that good shit. So the next thing, after you understand breathing and start practicing your breathing, when you come to this class, like say if somebody just happened to study under me and start a class in your hood, one of the first things after breathing when you come to class is learning how to wrap the hands. Now, in this school, why am I looking over there? Oh, in this school, I made it important, god dang it, because boxing is part or even half, like Tai Chi is one half and boxing is the other half. So the wraps, we use them for some of the same reasons that a boxer would use them for, but we do a little different. Like I think some boxers do knuckle push-ups. Like at the beginning of the video, I was getting ready to do some knuckle push-ups, but y'all distracted me, so I didn't. But you do knuckle push-ups, or we do knuckle push-ups. So this way would be for these two knuckles, and then on the side, you exercise these two knuckles. So what happens is when you're doing knuckle push-ups, you're going to be strengthening the bones, not only in the hands, but all the way up the arm. You understand? So that's one purpose for doing the knuckle push-ups. Plus, with the wraps on, and then we're going to get into what's called jiao. It's an ointment that you put on. You're not going to get like heavy calluses on your hands and stuff. Your hands will stay nice and soft for the women's. Anyway, so the one of the different things is like we wrap the knuckles, because we start out from the beginning. You're going to start out doing knuckle push-ups, and then little by little you unwrap the hand until you can do the knuckle push-ups without any wrap. But one of the different things we do is to wrap the hands maybe a little lower than a boxer would, because we practice blocking with these. Well, I'm calling it blocking right now, but we call it neutralizing. And it's really not like bone to bone. It's like you roll with the force, you understand, of the punch. And I'm going to have to get into all that in later videos. But we wrap the arms a little, like halfway down, so that we can practice those blocking techniques. And then it's also for when we're hitting the heavy bag. We're going to use that, which a lot of martial arts schools don't use, but boxers use. And so we want to make sure that the wrist is wrapped up really good, like a boxer. So when you hit the bag, your wrist don't. It's harder for your wrist to, like a skinny. I'm skinny and my wrists are weak. My wrists, a little weak, so I could punch the bag and motherfucker just bend on me and shit like that, So the third thing, now the colors of the school is green shirt, red sash. I'm not going to use these silky type sash. I'm going to use the sash that my teacher gave us. excuse me, and black pants, yeah, green, red, and black, or red, black, and green, however you want to say it. So those are the colors of the school. Now the sash stays red, but like I have on black wraps now, but when the school starts, the wraps are going to be the way of how you tell the rank of the person. So as a student, when you first come, it'll be like karate school. You start out with white wraps. Then if you take the 10-month or after the 10-month course, you get black wraps. Now, where does that come from? There was no such thing in karate as belt ranking before. And, you come with your white belt to hold up the pants. But now, one of the rituals was never to wash your belt. So what happens is after a while of practice, especially like judo and stuff like that, your white belt gets, it gets gray and then it gets black because they never washed the belt. So that's where the black belt come from. It wasn't about rank necessarily, but by the time it's black, it means you have been practicing for a minute. So anyway, we're following kind of that with the first two, from student to instructor consultant. You're gonna get black. From instructor consultant, the colors are going to change according to each of the ranks. So we only have four: consultant, instructor, teacher, professor, and then those of you who want to go beyond that are priests, or ministers, priests, or priestesses. Okay, so those are the ranks. So now I will stop talking, and I will show you some of the basics. So I will explain first what it is I am doing, or I am about to do. So I am about to do one of the other foundational practices of all Kung Fu, not just my Kung Fu. Kung Fu, the foundational practices are first breathing, Qigong, and the next most important one, if you're going to continue practicing Kung Fu, is called static postures. So I'm going to show the basic static posture. Okay, is that tall enough? Yeah. It's too tall. So, this is why we call it static posture, because it looks like I'm not doing anything. So, as opposed to, say Tai Chi or boxing or whatever, it's all about movement. But the unique thing about internal Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Bagua, Xin Yi, and etc., is that we practice those static postures. Now that's just one. There are many. Each one that you do, like this one, circulates energy. The one that I just showed grounds. We call it grounding energy. Now what's actually going on is I'm not just standing there, like a statue. There's things going on inside. First of all, I'm imagining that my life force, Qi, is sinking all the way down into the center of the earth. Now that thinking is actual force. When it gets strong enough, it'll start to, it's positive, it's the positive force. So when it pushes into the earth, it pushes up the negative force of the earth. And after a while, as you get stronger and stronger, that negative force makes a bubble around you where it's like way out there somewhere, and somebody tries to enter your bubble. Well, we're not going to go there right now. You got to practice to feel it and know what I'm talking about. So what's the next? That actually in my practice, I wrote everything down. I was supposed to go in order. The standing in, I have a exercise program that I call the 110. It's an hour and 10 minutes. What I was supposed to show first, which I did, was the breathing. Second was actually, what was second? I showed the knuckle push-ups, or I talked about it. Second, god dang it, where's second? Oh, okay, I did the rap and meditation, the first internal rap. So actually second would be reeling silk. So I'm gonna do that now. When I actually make the training, the 110 training video, I'll do it in order, I guess. So right now I'm gonna show what should be the second thing after you do the qigong. So, in internal kung fu, that is called reeling silk. There's a bunch of different ways you reel silk, because in Tai Chi, that's, instead of blocking like such, we reel. God dang nabbit, I knew it, the battery is running out. Anyways, let me move on really quick. So that's reeling silk. The next thing is discharging, or fa jing. Fa Jing is the expression of energy in a burst. The last part of the word, Jing, think of a spring. If you compress a spring and then just let it go, it just, so I'm running out of battery. But that's pretty much it. Those are the basics. And then after that, we do the standing, which I didn't explain. The standing is the meditation stance. The high stance is the meditation stance. So we meditate, like I was just doing at the beginning. That's the meditation stance. And we can do different meditations in the different stances. So, I wanted to go over a lot, but I'm outside and my battery's running out. I'll be more prepared next time. But for now, divine marijuana brings immortality